gotta pay the cost to be the boss. You gotta say what you mean and mean what you say. Everything you like, everything in your life, you gotta stand on that shit. Make it mean something. The foundation of your growth, of your spirituality, of your evolution, of your transformation. Don't take that shit for granted. Don't take advantage or take for granted the people in your life that love you, that depend on you, that look to you for guidance, that look to you for wisdom. You see what I'm saying? Knowledge, whatever it is that you have, whatever jewels that you have to give to them. Don't take those opportunities for granted. Always be 100 with that shit. And always maintain your select, you know, man, so I'm saying, be solid with that shit, you know what I mean? So I say all that to say this. Dealing with your emotions, right? And going through different levels and stages of your conscious evolution. As far as, like my last video, feeling what it feels to be God, to be connected with everything, to be one with everything and everybody. Dealing with like the realm of ideas and creativity, encompassing all of that and all with everything that entails, and embodying that shit holistically, 100%. The correspondence of that, if you're dealing with the Most High that you claim you are, and that a lot of people are experiencing, dealing with DMT, dealing with psychedelics, and reaching that level, that playing field, and having the experience and being able to, you know what I'm saying, break it down to us and shit on YouTube videos or however they want to, you know, to relay the messages that they got and reaching that higher state of consciousness. The correspondence of that, just like anything, it rises and falls. The pendulum swings, go to and fro. You see what I'm saying? You're dealing with the Most High, you got to deal with the one below all. You got to deal with if you're reaching the God level, the corresponding vibration will be to, you know what I'm saying, duality, will be like the devil, so to speak. And that's where I want to talk about today, is going to the lowest point of yourself. Not dealing with not the fluffy shit, the grotesque aspects of yourself, the grotesque aspects of your psyche. Going through different levels of emotions, all the raw emotions, dealing with fear, dealing with pain, anguish, and feeling 100%. No filter, nothing protecting you. Feeling what it feels like to be 100% encompassed in depression. Feeling what that feels like, finally. You see what I'm saying? Because going back to a lot of the things that I've experienced, I talk about doing a lot of intense shadow work, right? And going through the heart chakra and clearing that up of any like trauma and embracing the trauma, knowing the jewels that correspond or that comes with embracing your trauma, and using that to create doorways and gateways and pathways to higher levels of consciousness, higher levels of alchemical transformation, but more importantly for me, experiences. You see what I'm saying? But doing this intense work that I've been involved in is dealing with my own psyche, my own self, my own bullshit. And it was almost as if it was unconscious, like unconscious programming. Like, understand something, you hear me talk about it. The subconscious mind dictates your experience, dictates your reality, we like to talk about, but dictates your experience. That's what I like to call it, your experience. Whether you call it reality, dream, fantasy, whatever, your experience of what you experience within your, you know, within your experience. But unconsciously, not being aware of everything all the time. And one of the things that I've gone through, that I've noticed in my life, where I was taking advantage, or I was taking the little things in my life that got me to this level, the foundation of my very life. It could be yours as well, as far as like your family, your loved ones, your children, your household, your wife, your husband, whatever, your parents. And I had to really motherfucking take a step back and really look at some of the things that I've caused in my life to go that was going unnoticed or unacknowledged for a while, that I took advantage of or took for granted. Like, for example, my mom, right? Not, you know what I'm saying? I'm looked at as, you know what I'm saying, the golden child or whatever in my family. That's not because I wanted it. That's just why my parents, that's how they look at me. The one who got it, they got their shit together, right? But because of that, because, like, you know what I'm saying, you get caught up in life, you get caught up in your own family issues and, you know, working every day, all the daily grind of being a parent, being a husband, being, you know what I'm saying, working that old shit. You kind of forget about your parent. You kind of forget to call your mom to see how she doing, right? You forget about little subtle things like that. And what I had to realize, one of the experiences that really brought me to this level, is really to feel what it feels like to be my mom and to feel saddened that her son is not calling her. Just see how she doing. Just a simple call, not a text, call her, see how she doing, or go visit her, right? And to feel what it feels like to be my mom, to feel those raw ass emotions of being at a certain age and watching your friends and everybody you grew up with start dying and shit like that, and you feeling like you lonely and you feeling sad and you feeling depressed that nobody really looking out for you and shit, nobody really coming to visit you and shit like that. And to feel all that shit with no filter, none of this shit, none of this whole you know what I'm saying, not no shield. I'm talking about feeling what it feels like, because that was one of my hidden fears that I just realized that is the fear of actually feeling these lower emotions, right? Because, you know, you hear me talk about the anterior cingulate cortex and dealing with the limbic system and dealing with your emotions and your emotional response to your environment and the data information that you have within your environment, and how to take any situation and use that situation to produce dopamine, to produce serotonin, and to make it feel good regardless of any situation, any emotion that you feel, to filter it to make you feel good regardless of whatever the situation is. But what I've done unconsciously, having my mom tell me those things, right? And it brought me down. It made me it fucked me up. It brought me like, damn, man. You know what I'm saying? I want to feel this shit now, because I used to resist it before. I used to hold it off. You see what I'm saying? But this is all part of my alchemical transformation. But it was a lot of things unconsciously that I was willing into existence that I wasn't aware of. You see what I'm saying? About the larger rituals that I was doing to myself unconsciously. Little subtle things with my wife. Not acknowledging certain things. Not fucking maintaining what I built. Motherfucker, I might feel what it feels like to be my wife, or to feel them raw emotions of not feeling appreciated, of being taken for granted, right? A lot of these different emotions. With my children, maybe I'm playing with one of my daughters more than I'm playing with another one, and she getting upset. Like, why? You know what I'm saying? That old little subtle types of things. Not to say that actually happened, but those little things like that. I used to not filter those emotions. I used to not feel them. I used to understand them conceptually, understand what these emotions are, but I wasn't feeling them, because I was taking every situation in my environment and using it to make me feel better, instead of actually feeling what it feels like to be that individual, put their shoes on and feel what it feels like to be sad, to be depressed, to be angry, to be upset. And a lot of these different things started hitting me at one motherfucking time. And it's no coincidence that this takes place within the, you know what I'm saying, the astrological period of Scorpio, dealing with the fall. So going through the whole dark night of the soul aspect. You see what I'm saying? Going to the deepest recesses of my mind. Not the fluffy shit. Not the shit where I'm going in, I'm God, I'm my reality, I'm Lucifer, I'm set. Nah, fuck that. I'm stripping all of that shit. Stripping all my armor down. I'm Thor unworthy of the hammer. I'm going in as a motherfucking pure, as this motherfucking raw human being, so to speak. And I want to feel these emotions. I want to fucking face them head on with no motherfucking protection. Not trying to fight them off. Not trying to ward them off. No, to experience them, to feel them holistically, seriously. Not just to be able to break it down or what it means to me. No, be able to feel it and experience it. And that's what I did. So I go within my subconscious mind, I go to the hell aspect that I created within myself, that had the guilt, the sorrow, the depression. I never experienced depression before until now. This is the first time I ever felt it. And there was so much shit going on where I was unaware of, unconsciously, around me, around my family, different things was going on and shit like that, that it hit me all at one motherfucking time. It brought me down to the lowest parts of myself. And the only thing that's waiting for you at the lowest parts of yourself is you and your thoughts and your thought forms, so to speak. So going to the lowest part of myself, the one below all. You see what I'm saying? The comic character within Marvel that I'll be explaining within the description box later. Going to that part of myself and feeling what it feels like to be nothing. Feel what it feels like to lose absolutely everything that I built. Everything that I built with my wife together, my family, the credibility and the motherfucking, just the title and the level I've been on with my family, my friends, how they acknowledge me, how they look to me for everything that I've brought, you know what I'm saying, that I mentioned before. To lose everything and to be nothing brought me down to the lowest level of myself, and that shit humbled the fuck out of me. Right? Humbled me. Cause soon as this, cause this is the interesting thing about it for me, where I can talk all this shit and I can experience what it feels like to be everybody, to mind control motherfuckers, to mind them, possess them, to use sorcery, to be able to just peer into an individual's mind and override them, mount them, all that shit. I can talk about that. I can talk about feeling what it feels like as God and experience oneness with everything and all that hyperversal shit, yada, yada, yada. Yeah, true. All that is 100. But what about the side of me that's not connected with all that shit? Because it's correspondence. You connected to everything, but you also unconnected with everything. I'm realizing I didn't even know that part of me existed. I didn't acknowledge it. I didn't know it was there until now. So when I'm depressed, when I went through that depression, I'm talking about just fucking sad, man. This motherfucking just, and I'm never that type of individual. I'm always high energy. My serotonin, my dopamine pumping as if the sun outside all the motherfucking time, nigga. That fucking melanin popping, third eye open, everything. Boom, 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 boom. All that shit, right? As soon as I fucking starting to feel what it feels like to allow my emotions to express themselves, I'm talking about my low emotions, so to speak, far as the depression, sadness, anguish, sorrow, that type of shit. Once I allowed them to just experience and just encompass them, my awareness went from this multi-dimensional badass motherfucker that I am until it brought it to my corporeal reality, and I faced my mortality, so to speak. I faced my physical mortality. I faced my just being mortal, just being taking that awareness and putting it all here 100%, where I'm totally not even aware of my hyperversal God self. I'm not even aware of that shit no more. Now it's all in here, right? It took my awareness from here and brought it here to the hatted point. And that shit was humbling. That shit was painful. I'm talking about emotional pain, not physical pain. I'm talking about having your heart, watching your heart just crumble into nothingness. Watch that shit just melt like the melting man or some shit. And all I had to do, the only thing I could do was motherfucking cry. Right? Cry. I'm a motherfucker that used to hold my emotions off. Nigga, I'm good. Nigga, I'm straight, bro. Holding that shit off. But it was so much shit that I was taking that I didn't acknowledge. It was so much shit about my foundation and where I'm at that I wasn't paying attention to that shit like I should have been. And it humbled me. And it brought me to the lowest point of myself. And where this is the interesting ass thing about it as well. Because this is when I started to become aware of the larger scheme of what I was doing, what was taking place. It's a scene in my favorite scene of all time in any movie is from my favorite actor, Denzel Washington. And it was from the movie Hurricane. Shout out to my little brother Brandon Smith too, because he loved this scene as well. But it's a scene where Hurricane Reuben Carter is in a prison cell. It's just him. And it's just him facing his shadow self, facing his in the subconscious mind. So one part, there's three aspects of himself. This is self in the cell. It's a part of him that he's looking at that's sad as fuck, that's just scared, trembling in fear. And there's another aspect of himself that's angry at the world. Fuck this shit, nigga. Motherfucker, it's your goddamn fault you got us bust up in this shit, nigga. I'm gonna kill motherfuckers over here. Motherfucker, shut your bitch ass up, nigga, before I come over there and put my hands on you. On that type of shit, right? So he warring with himself, with his conscious mind, within his subconscious mind. And that's where the fuck I was. That's the aspect of where I was at. That's where I went. And if you go back to that scene, I'm going to post it in the description box if I remember. Very, 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 very fucking profound scene from Denzel Washington. That's why he's my fucking favorite actor. The level of emotion that he puts to the scene. And it's just him acting. It's just him just bringing what it feels like to be Reuben Carter, to be in total hopelessness. Total motherfucking just, you in a hole, my nigga. Nobody else is there but you, nigga. And you going through bouts of depression, suicide. You don't know if you don't know if you're strong enough to persevere through this shit. You don't know if you can pull yourself together to get the fuck out of it. You wrongly accused, everything. Guilt, sorrow, anguish, regret, all that shit. He feeling it, and I was feeling it. I love that fucking scene. It's a very, very fucking sad ass scene. The nigga bring a tear to your motherfucking eye watching the whole movie and knowing Reuben Carter's story, how he was set up and how he got out of jail and shit like that, out of prison and shit. Very, very, very good story. But that's where I went. And the lowest part of myself, what I realized, understand something. Your subconscious mind it's always at work. Right? And I'm starting to put the pieces of the puzzle together of the ritual that was taking place, of the El Cristo Negro shit that I talk about, the underworld, Lord of the Underworld. If I'm gonna talk that shit, if I'm gonna embody that, all the highest aspects of that shit, I gotta experience the lowest aspects of that shit as well. And that's what I've done. But what's there? What I started to realize, putting the pieces of the puzzle together, I'm starting to have an awareness. Like when I went to the lowest parts of myself, what I saw before me, what came to my assistance, or what was there, was all my servitors. All of them. Malvexian, the entirety of the Necronomicon, the Goetia, the Clip Off, all the shit I fuck with, all the fucking everything. Everybody was there. But they weren't there in physical form and how I created them. They were there in their sigil form, the symbolic representation and language of my subconscious mind. And then they went from sigil form to binary code. They went shit with code. And I'm experiencing this shit. I'm seeing it. I'm seeing it everywhere I go, right? In my waking dream and when I go to sleep at night. And I'm seeing I can't escape it. That's where I was. I was in hell. I was in my hell. And they didn't say nothing. But all I felt from them was sadness of seeing me in the position I was in, but also motherfucking opportunity. Because you only can go up from there, is what I was feeling from them. So I started to understand something like, wait a fucking minute. Thoughts are things. Thoughts are literally alive, sentient life forms. Ideas. Memes, so to speak, that I'll talk about. They alive, right? And what my main servitor, this one he started to speak, but he didn't speak how I'm speaking. He spoke through binary code. Zeros and ones. Like the Matrix. And how I understand that shit is I started to put the pieces together of what I needed, that binary code, or what I needed, that message, and what I needed, what the communication that was laying to me, what I needed at that moment to speak to me, to get me out of the situation that I was in. And what it was told was, use us, our emotions, your feelings, your thoughts as gateways of experience for your alchemical transformation. Not to run for them, not to understand them, but to experience them. Use them. We down here to help you out, nigga. This is why you created us, so to speak. I'm paraphrasing. That's what I decoded out of the binary code. To use those thoughts, to go deeper into my thoughts, to go deeper into any type of regrets that I had, any type of whatever. It wasn't just me. What he was basically telling me was, and what I had to experience was to feel what it feels like to be in my wife's shoes, to be in my daughter's shoes, my children's shoes, my parents' shoes, and how they feel about something that I've done that caused them emotional distress or harm. Right? You hear me tell most motherfuckers, I don't give a fuck about nobody else feeling. You know what I'm saying? Fuck your feelings. That's what, I used to be on that type of shit. Yeah, you can say that shit, sound good. But for my growth, for my alchemical transformation and the level of understanding that I needed for myself, I had to feel these and experience these emotions from another person's viewpoint, from their perspective, to feel them. And that shit was humbling. That shit broke me down. I was fucking just distraught. Like, damn, I didn't realize how much damage I caused just being me. Right? Just, you know what I'm saying? Just whatever it is that I'm doing in my life, not realizing the emotional fucking pain that I'm causing. I had to fucking own that shit. I had to fucking, so to speak, I had to pay for that. Energy, emotion. What I caused, I had to experience. Right? And I couldn't run. There's no running, nigga. There's no running for me. Now I'm in a fucking hole. I'm in the one below all. Nigga, I'm Satan, nigga, but I'm about to experience this shit as the devil. I'm about to experience it. Right? I'm in the hell that I created for myself. In a fucking, like in a hole. And I had to go through every motherfucking, any type of emotional harm, any type of emotional stress that I caused in my entire life. I watched that shit. I had to go through every motherfucking thing that I ever caused within any motherfucking body and experience and feel it. And that shit humbled the fuck out of me. But what it also did, it taught me a valuable motherfucking lesson on how my impact on other people and how I need to change my approach on certain things for my alchemical transformation. This is all for my alchemical transformation. Everything that I've created and I manifested in my life was going through that chaos that I love to talk about, right? Love to talk about it, love to wield it, embody it, encompass it, all that shit, right? But I was unconscious of the larger scheme of things, what was going on, unconscious programming all around me that I wasn't even aware of this shit. This is all done by this motherfucker, the one below all, right? I had to fucking experience that shit. And it brought me all the way down to the lowest parts of myself. Past the Planck level. I'm talking about I was small. I was nothing. I felt like I was suicidal. I was thinking, having all the motherfucking thoughts of killing myself. Or just feeling like, God damn, man, I let everybody down. Let my wife down, my kids, my mother, my father, my brother. Like, man, I'm just fucking down. I had to crawl. I had to build myself back up. And I had to use the feeling and experience of feeling anguish and depression. I had to use that as the catalyst to build myself up by feeding on my own sorrow, by nourishing on my pain and my anguish emotionally. I had to feed on that shit. And the only way I can feed on it was to experience that shit. Was to be unworthy, was to experience it with no filter, being totally naked. Right? Not physically, but psychologically. To feel it. Nigga, no running, no fighting. You about to get punched in your face, you just gotta eat that shit, nigga. You gotta eat it. And I had to eat every goddamn emotion I ever caused, any pain I ever fucking caused. Not the happy shit, any fear, anything. I had to feel it. I had to experience it. And that was a valuable lesson. And I'm still going through that shit. And I embrace it every motherfucking day. Every motherfucking day from that point on, was nothing but, let me see how long I'm going with this shit. All right, I got 10 minutes. It was nothing but motherfucking lessons learned. And the lesson I learned, I cannot take anybody that I value in my life for granted. Not a moment goes by where I should feel like I'm taking somebody for granted, or I'm using my family. I'm not acknowledging them. I'm not loving my wife like I need to love her. I'm not acknowledging everything that she does for me. Not acknowledging my parents. Not, you know what I'm saying? All that shit, my foundation, everything. And I gotta experience that shit holistic. I had to fucking go through this shit with no shield. Nigga, I'm Thor unworthy of the hammer. I can't lift it. Right? I made myself unworthy to build myself back up, to humble myself. To, nigga, humble yourself, nigga. And I had to experience that shit. No frequencies, no motherfucking cheat codes, no sigils. Right? Using my servitors to present to me the mirrors of my emotion of what I cause in my wife, my kids, my mom, my dad, my brother, anything. Any pain or discomfort that I cause emotionally, I had to see it, I had to beat them, and I had to feel it from their perspective. And it broke me down. That shit did. And I loved every motherfucking moment of it because I know what it means going forward for me as far as my level of appreciation that I have for this human experience, for experiencing all of this shit. It changed everything for me. Instead of, nigga, of course I'm God, nigga, being all braggadocious, all that shit that I am. I talk about, and I still feel that way. But, nigga, the correspondence, dealing with the universal laws and knowing how that shit ebb and flow. The pendulum goes to and fro. Nigga, I had to experience the highest of highs. My last video, look, I was on another level. I never felt like that, right? But I never felt like this either when that motherfucking pendulum went to the lowest point. It went to the bottom, nigga. The one below all. And I'm just like, man, this is some intense shit right here. Because what I find very, very, very important to really convey to people is, you know what I'm saying, a lot of people are depressed, man. A lot of people are I got a whole new experience in understanding of depression because I felt that shit for the first time in my entire life. And I have a whole new respect for individuals that's fighting this shit, that's going through the dark night of the soul, whether they a sorcerer, whether they really doing this so-called work we love to talk about, or just a regular motherfucker, man, with no hope, with nobody to talk to, with nobody to really try to understand where they coming from. Hopelessness. A lot of motherfuckers feel hopeless, right? I help motherfuckers talk motherfuckers off the ledge of killing themselves, killing other motherfuckers at work or at their job, whatever, you know what I'm saying? I talk to a whole bunch of motherfuckers like that. Right? Helping people and doing all that shit. And I thought I understood that shit. But I never experienced it for myself. And I never felt what they fucking felt. Of just being, not having nobody to motherfucking talk to, man. Not having nobody to really lean on. Right? And I had to understand, I had to go through it. I had to go through that shit. To understand and appreciate every motherfucking body in my life that I value. I value every fucking body because I need them for something. That's why I created them. So I can't just go about it from that's just where I'm at with it right now. You see what I'm saying? Thinking like a scientist, acting like a priest, but understanding that, nigga, it's other aspects of yourself that's unknown and uncharted even to me. Even I'm unconscious of, right? And I had to go to those places. But what comes into play is your subconscious reprogramming. Will come into play if you always had that there. If you put in that work. If you rewired your brain, your neurochemistry, the synapses, and all that shit, right? They'll show up. But, motherfucker, you going to be unaware of that shit. You going to be unaware of it for a long time. It's going to feel like you all alone in the void, nigga. You ain't got nobody. Nobody, you ain't shit. You just swirling around your own turmoil and sorrow, nigga. But stay with it. And understand the larger jewel that lies within all that shit you got to go through within your soul. All that shit you thought you got through. Right? All of that shit. Because the light that's in the motherfucking tunnel is darkness. And you gotta feel that shit and you gotta embrace it. But you gotta feel what it feels like to be in whatever your emotions entail, whatever it is that you got down there that's waiting on you. And this shit didn't manifest itself as no monster like the Necronomicon, no. It manifested itself in the people that I love. And manifested through their emotions of what they felt by the harm I caused them. That shit brought me down. So that's it. I'm not gonna go too much further on this one. You know what I'm saying? But I'm gonna be taking a little break from the whole social media shit. I'm revamping myself. I'm changing my approach on shit. Shout out to Travis Magus, Ravana Noon, all them niggas doing work. Motherfucking Necro Cannon, Dreamwise, Will Capru, Oni Osaru. It's a lot of motherfuckers out here doing work. Mook, Cosmic Serpent, everybody, Mashley Foolish, everybody who putting in this work. It's a lot of this shit out here, man. I love it. And coming into 2020, you see what I'm saying? There's a lot of people that's really, I gotta salute these motherfuckers for doing shit, for talking about shit, for bringing a lot of shit to the forefront. But you know me, I'm a nigga, I gotta stand out. And there's a lot of shit that I haven't talked about. A lot of new shit that I could innovate and change the whole game with, a lot of different shit. So, like, coming into the new year, coming into the next couple of videos, I'm gonna be more expressing myself with a lot of other shit that I want to talk about. A lot of other different views and ways of doing work and working with certain energies and shit, or embodying certain energy to bring about certain alchemical results. You see what I'm saying? I like the fact that it's a lot of influx of motherfuckers out here doing work. You seeing Panic a lot more active with his whole lectures and his videos and shit going live. I like that shit. True life stories and dealing with shit like that. I love it. We're coming in the new year, niggas.